Evolution and finally the revolution regarding world's first sometime. May he be a general physician, family physician or a specialist. And sometime or the other he does come across the patients of influenza. So he knows about it, that it is a respiratory illness. The infection takes place in nose, throat and lungs. It's highly contagious and spreads rapidly. Before you think about the disease in a particular patient, it usually spreads to more than a dozen of patients in the surroundings. This influenza virus is a single-stranded RNA virus with three types, type A, B and C. All of them can cause disease in man, but A can cause disease in animals as well as birds. Which viruses cause influenza? All A, B and C can cause influenza. Salient features about influenza A virus: can infect humans, animals and birds, responsible for annual epidemics as well as pandemics, unlike B and C. Classified into different subtypes, hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. Infection in humans is typically caused by viruses displaying mainly three of the H1, H2 or H3 and N1 or N2 neuraminidase. Influenza B virus is not responsible for pandemics. It's classified into two different lineages, that is Yamagata and Victoria. C is not very dangerous and it's very rare into humans, and no influenza vaccine prevents disease from influenza C virus. As far as spread is concerned, as far as seasons are concerned, these influenza-like symptoms occur on the southern parts of the earth, somewhere in April to September, and in northern part of the earth, activity peak levels are in November to March. But as far as India is concerned, it is all throughout, since India is a tropical country. These are the things which all of us know, that it is highly contagious, acute respiratory illness caused by influenza viruses. There are two types of diseases. One is epidemics, seasonal epidemic, and second is the global epidemic. Seasonal one occurs during winter months in the temperate countries and year-round in the tropics, like India. Global epidemic may occur during any season and may include multiple waves lasting for more than a year, and that is why it is called a pandemic. Why there is a difference in the seasonal epidemic and pandemic? It is because of antigenic shift and drift of the viruses. Now, what is antigenic shift and drift? Antigenic drift means the virus changes in itself and its siblings very slowly over a period of time. It is a continuous process. It happens with both influenza A and B virus, and immune system can't recognize it, and that is why every year it goes on changing. That is why you need to get a new flu vaccine every year. Antigenic shift, it affects influenza A virus only, not B and C. It is sudden and major change in the flu virus, including some of the animal population virus are also there. So there is a clubbing of it. It's a monster virus, very different from same subtype of humans. And because people have little or almost no immunity, it spreads very fast and leads to pandemic. So you can say that drift is changing the tire gear from 1 to 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But pandemic means changing the gear from 1 to 5 directly. This is what it is depicted in a different form. The spread. How does it spread? From person to person by direct contamination, or transmitted by respiratory aerosols, and a person standing 6 feet away also can be infected. It can also be transmitted by direct or indirect contamination by touching the doorknobs, tables, or infected persons there behind. Symptoms. There is a salad of symptoms like fever, headache, cough, sore throat, muscle ache, etc. But surprisingly, all of you must have seen that there could be various combinations of symptoms. Sometimes there may not be fever at all. There could be just severe muscle ache or body ache. And sometimes there could be only fever, which is very high grade and does not respond to paracetamol or even the antibiotics. So there could be different combinations of symptoms. We are not worried about these symptoms, since all of us know how to combat these symptoms by overhydration, rest, paracetamol, and if relevant, the antibiotic. But what we are worried about is the complications. And the most dreaded
These are the genes that encode parts of the virus. Around the RNA are different proteins. The proteins involved in drift are called hemagglutinin and neuraminidase. Scientists call them HA and NA5 and neuraminidase subtype 1. If a person has been vaccinated or has a natural immunity against the virus, antibodies will attach to the HA protein, blocking it from infecting human cells and stopping the virus from spreading. Without natural immunity, or immunity provided by the correct vaccine, the HA proteins on the virus interact with sugars on the outside of those cells. This creates a bond that allows the virus to enter targeted cells where it can cause infection. When the influenza viruses replicate, they can mutate slightly. Scientists have shown that this leaves small changes in the HA and NA proteins. Over time, as the virus spreads from person to person, these changes accumulate and the virus drifts from its original form. Eventually, the immune system no longer recognizes the HA proteins from the virus and the flu vaccine becomes ineffective. Each year, flu vaccine is made to protect against the most common flu viruses predicted to circulate among.
in two halves. In the first half, we should use it in all of our patients who need it. And in the second half, we should use it to our relatives, friends, and to ourselves also, because we are healthcare workers. So we should take it every year. So for a new approved scientific product, if we get convinced, we should go and do this charity on a large scale. Thank you.